Hey, welcome back, or rather welcome to our very first cat dedicated video. Have you ever wondered why so many cats suffer from urinary tract illnesses and kidney disease? Why is it so common that most of us consider it to be unavoidable and perfectly normal? I'll let you in on a little secret. They're not normal at all. So what can you do to avoid these chronic illnesses in your cat? What should you be feeding them based on fact, not marketing fiction? That bag of convenient dry kibble holds all the answers. So stick around and your cat will thank you for it. Well, as much as any cat can say thank you anyway. Well, if you've watched any of our other videos, they're all focusing on dog foods and species-appropriate feeding for canines. But due to the large amount of requests we've had, I promise I'm going to spend more time in the cat food section of the pet store to really unpack all of the marketing BS that exists here too. Just the same as what I do in the dog food section. If you've got a dog, this video is still for you. There are similarities across the two species with only a couple of key differences. So I'll stop talking and get to the good stuff. Cats unite. A real food does exist for you guys as well. Now, this video is very much an introduction to feeding your cat a species-appropriate diet. And I'm going to go over the really high-level stuff that I'm hoping will spark your interest enough for you to want to learn more. Pretty much today is all about the good, the bad, and the plain ugly when it comes to their food. In this case, this stuff, dry kibble. This video is really just to give you some basic facts to get you thinking and asking more questions rather than just believing all of those unsubstantiated cat food marketing claims like hairball removal. So cat people, please hit that like and subscribe. There will be a hell of a lot more information coming for you guys soon. Now, you probably know the most common way of feeding cats and dogs out there is dry food or kibble, this stuff. But is this food that you are feeding your cat actually making them sick? Here is a big question for you. Why are so many cats and dogs, obviously, seriously overweight? And why do cats in particular suffer from diseases like kidney stones, urinary tract infections, diabetes and tooth decay? And more to the point, why does almost everyone think this is just a normal part of owning a cat? Or a dog, for that matter? The answer to this is heartbreaking to me. It's because these types of chronic diseases are so common now, and we've been desensitized and numbed into thinking that they're actually inevitable. Hang around and I'll explain why they're not inevitable, and they're not a done deal. In fact, most are completely preventable, and no surprises here for that Watch Our channel. Diet is everything. Well, let me start at the beginning. There are some biological facts you should be aware of. The first and most important thing you should know is cats are obligate carnivores. That is, they need meat to survive. And that's all cats, from the fluffy feline curled up next to you to the wild tigers out there. They need protein that's sourced from animals. They need meat, not just to thrive, but to survive. Your cat cannot get his nutritional needs from carbohydrates like rice or corn or soy. They have evolved to metabolize these meat proteins in different unique ways in comparison to dogs. Think about what a cat would eat in the wild. They hunt small animals like mice or birds. Lots of protein, lots of fat, minimal to no carbohydrates other than what's in the stomach of their prey. Unlike their dog friends, they require a lot more protein in comparison. Just fun fact, the cat's minimum protein requirement is 29% to survive. In comparison, it's just 12% for dogs to survive. So the next thing you need to know is in the wild, they have a very little desire to drink water. They get most of their moisture from whatever they've killed. Domesticated cats often don't like drinking water out of a bowl, and most are in a constant state of chronic dehydration. Have you ever seen a cat drinking like this from a tap? This is very unnatural behaviour, and yet you see it in dry-fed cats quite a lot. Wild cats have evolved to eat multiple small meals during the day to satisfy their thirst. And this is really important to think about when it comes to urinary tract disease. Cats that eat this way, that is multiple meals, are much more likely to have a normal urinary pH level. Not too acidic, not too alkaline. Too alkaline can form struvite crystals, and too far the other way, acidic can form calcium oxalate crystals. A balanced urinary pH occurs just by eating multiple high-protein small meals throughout the day. And this is where you are thinking, I've got this covered. I leave a bowl full of kibble and my cats snack on all the time. Wrong. Why? Well, cats that are allowed to free feed, that is graze all day whenever they feel like it, suffer from crazy blood sugars, highs and lows. Cats have a very short colon, which means it's almost impossible for them to break down starches and carbohydrates. They lack an enzyme that is produced in the liver called glucanase. This is required to break down and metabolize blood sugar glucose. So each time he eats a meal high in carbs, his blood sugar is going to spike. He physically can't break it down. When this happens, his pancreas steps up to the plate and tries to produce enough insulin, except it can't. And then what do we end up with? Unfortunately, over time, a diabetic cat. This is why there seems to be an epidemic of diabetic cats out there. And it's simple biology. They're all eating way too many carbs and their bodies can't cope. And it's from the dry carb-loaded kibble. The other problem with this style of snacking throughout the day is dental disease, plaque and tartar build-up that is so common because of one simple reason. They take a couple of bites and the food stays in their mouths. Over time, these carbs break down into starches and then into sugars. And guess what causes all these teeth problems? Sugars. And no, dental kibble is just a marketing trick. It does not work. It's a trick. But the other topic for another day, that is, if you're interested, check out the video on dental kibble. It talks all about dogs' mouths, but the exact same problems happen in cats' mouths for the exact same reasons as dogs. Check that one out if you want to know more. Now, no matter what brand or price, from Friskies to Royal Canin, all kibble is based on carbs. Did you know that many of the high protein kibbles that you often pay a heck of a lot more for are based on high plant-based proteins like peas, legumes or soy? And these plant-based proteins are just as hard for your cat to digest and metabolize. They can't. A heck of a lot of cat food out there uses soy as its main ingredient, unfortunately. It's cheaper than meat and it fulfills the needs for a carbohydrate to hold the kibble together. But here's the kicker. Soy has been proven to disrupt thyroid production, leading to all sorts of other illnesses in your cat's body. So, in summary, cats fed on dry kibble are in a constant state of dehydration due to its low moisture content. Meat contains about 75% moisture, whereas kibble contains less than 10%. This leads to all those urinary tract illnesses and kidney disease. Cats eating a high carbohydrate diet are putting their bodies under constant stress and exposing your cat to diabetes and obesity. Most cats are not fed enough protein, and it's the wrong types of proteins like soy or peas, causing all sorts of problems with their thyroids, a key player in your cat's overall health and well-being. And if your cat has been diagnosed with kidney stones or urinary tract illness, have a closer look at that bag of prescription kibble. Seems counterintuitive to feed an already ill animal under stress more of the stuff that has caused his illness in the first place. Read the labels, people, please. So you're sitting there and asking, well, what should they really be eating? A diet consisting of meat and organs and absolutely no carbohydrates, including things like sweet potato, grains or soy. Skip the veggies and go straight for real meat. Tinned wet foods are by far a better choice than a bag of dry kibble. Their need for moisture and proteins will be met 10 times over in comparison to that bag of dry food. Just check for added carbs. Ditch the kibble. Your cat will thank you for it, hopefully. Live longer and healthier life, and at the end of the day, that's what we all want.